Hey, what is up YouTube? Kolst here. We have some really exciting news because this is a huge patch for Arena as we kind of expected, and because 25.4 patch notes just came out. This is when the mini set is going to come out, and let's just start talking about it really fast. Okay, yada yada, the mini set's happening, blah blah blah. I'll actually go down the list really fast just to say, there's some battleground stuff. Mercenaries is dying. If you're not aware, they're introducing the big late game or end game content for Mercenaries, but also ending the game. There will be no more future updates for Mercenaries. A lot of cool stuff here if you actually play Mercenaries. The last 6 mercs being introduced, but yeah, I'm upset that there isn't going to be an ETC Mercenary, but whatever, let's go on. Okay, so Arena updates. New Arena Leaderboard. With patch 25.4, we'll be introducing a new Arena Leaderboard to the Hearthstone Leaderboards page. Arena will be able to be selected from the dropdown, will automatically update throughout the season, just like the other modes. So if you're not familiar, I should give a little bit of context. There were actually Arena Leaderboards. They just were not in the same place. This is the leaderboards over here. You can select a bunch of modes. You can see all the bots that, for example, are at the top of Mercenaries. But you can select all the modes, but not Arena. What would actually happen previously was that they had separate blog posts that were just posted on their websites where they would, show for each region. These are the top people. They would do a one-time calculation, basically. There were a lot of weird problems with this. Like, they just chose arbitrary times, which became really weird because they didn't line up to actual rotations and stuff, so it was really weird. So now this is going to be a thing that constantly updates now, so that's going to be really, really cool for that. Because there's going to be, I think, a couple changes here. First of all, let me mention this, because they're saying it's a new arena season as well. All current reruns will end and start a new season, and the sets will rotate, and I'll talk about that in a second. But what that heavily implies is that they are no longer just going to be picking a random arbitrary time. They're actually going to be lining up for a season. So that's going to be really cool. The other thing I have, which I'm not sure because I've asked on Twitter, but I haven't gotten a response yet. They say modified average based off an entire season. It used to be they just chose your best 30 streak. This thing seems to imply, I think it might be changing slightly. It says similar, but not the same as before. So it seems like, it is possible that your best streak wouldn't be a 30 streak. It might be like a 35 streak. Like, imagine you have 3 12-win runs in a row, and then you have just a bunch of 30 regular runs, and then you have another 3 12 wins. So then your best streak would definitely be, that 33 stretch or 36 stretch, I guess, rather than the 30 streak in the middle, or, just counting either end, it would be longer. So it sounds to me like that's how it's changing. So it would be a slightly more intelligent way of calculating it. So that's an improvement as well. However, they're still keeping the upside that, the reason they don't just keep your average over the entire season is that, people want to be able to lock in an average and then have fun, rather than having to, pay the price that, okay, if I keep playing on this account that I have a good average on, I'm going to lower it and I'm not going to be as high on the leaderboard. So you're still able to do that. So basically, it's a win-win, best of both worlds. You can keep trying to improve your average, but you're not punished for doing so if you don't quite succeed. So that is really cool. But next, let's talk about the arena rotations. The eligible sets will rotate. So the following sets will make up the arena card pool. And this is Core, Forged in the Barons United. But this is all of Standard, as we expected. I didn't expect they would actually include all of Standard because there's like 1,400 cards in Standard, and normally the arena rotations between like 1,000 to 1,100 cards. So this is going to be a very big arena rotation just by sheer number of cards. But it's also going to be big because we have been used to, in the last like 6 months or so, very low power level rotations with a bunch of old sets, but now these are all modern 2022, 2023, and some 2021 sets, so the power level is going to be much higher than we are used to. And I think that is going to be a great change because I'm not a fan of these rotations where there's just a huge variance in power level, because it just ends up being, some people have a lot of good cards, some people have a lot of really bad cards, and if you roll low, you just can't compete with people that roll high in the same way. There's always going to be that in Arena, but it just feels particularly bad when your cards are, you have a 2014 card and your opponent plays a 2023 card and you're like, what is that? So inevitably this will introduce a whole new set of things, but I think this is a very good change and a necessary change. So I'm definitely going to be excited to see this and try it out, of course, when it comes out in just about 24 hours, I do believe. And so that's definitely very, very exciting. Let's go and talk about the other things. Duels, they just added the new set, or the new mini set, I should say, and there's going to be a new Corgi Cup cosmetic, which is something I believe one of the devs particularly is a fan of corgis, so she introduced this thing, and there's going to be, I guess this is in, it's going to be both Hearthstone and Battlegrounds emotes involved, so some cosmetics coming there. That's pretty cool. More cosmetics. Is going to be new diamond versions of a couple of these cards. Some of these are going to be unlocked pretty much for free, or you might have to have a bunch of stuff in your collection. But yeah, cool cosmetics. And there's a whole bunch of bug fixes as well. I want to mention one specifically because there's one particularly huge for Arena, and that they fixed a bug where the Sunwell was not able to be drafted. This was something I knew about, but I did not want to say because I did not want to draw attention to it, because personally I did not like that card being in Arena. So you would generate it randomly, but I was very glad that you didn't lose games to it more frequently, kind of like you do to Astor and stuff. So I'm actually not too happy about this, but having said that, you know, it's a fun card, and especially with the new rotation being much higher power level, Sunwell probably isn't going to be the same level of auto win that it was, so this is probably fine. You know, it's going to be okay. Still, these changes are definitely very much net positive. There's some other funny things in here too. The tutorial is now replayable, interesting, and there are miscellaneous other bug fixes and game improvements. There are probably going to be other things. I don't remember exactly. There's some bugs affecting Arena right now, so there's probably a couple other things that are going to be randomly fixed too. But yeah, that is it for these changes. But for Arena, definitely the leaderboard and the new Arena season are going to be the very exciting changes here. If you're not familiar, the leaderboard is like top 200. You usually have to have, lately it's been, depending on what server you're on, maybe between a 5 to 6 win average to be able to get onto the leaderboard. So wherever you are, it's going to be a pretty good goal to shoot for. And if you don't track your runs, you know, it might be a good way to actually see, you know, whether or not you're up here, because it will be updating live finally. So that's going to be really, really cool. But with that, yeah, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Hope you guys are looking forward to this stuff as much as I am, but thanks a lot. We'll see you guys in the next one.